Something about the current chatter surrounding DeAndre Hopkins and the Houston Texans just does not sit right with me, and we need to talk about it. Former Texans star DeAndre Hopkins is a free agent looking for a contender, and he has explicitly signaled he is ready to keep playing his 14th NFL season. While a reunion would be a massive nostalgic moment, it is fair to wonder if his specific skill set actually helps our current roster goals. And honestly, the more details come out, the harder it is to ignore what is going on behind the scenes. Smash that like button, subscribe, and tell me your name and city in the comments. Let's get into it. Former All-Pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins is making headlines as he eyes a return to the NFL for a 14th season in 2026. For those of us who have followed this team for years, Hopkins remains a legendary figure. He arrived in Houston as a first-round pick and became the heartbeat of our passing attack for 7 productive campaigns, setting a standard for excellence that fans still fondly recall today. According to a recent interview on SiriusXM NFL Radio from June 24, 2026, Hopkins stated that while he still loves the game, he is looking to join a contending team as a specialized utility piece, rather than a primary option. He mentioned that he is not trying to force a role as a superstar, but feels he can still be a reliable target on third downs after playing last season with the Baltimore Ravens. Let's be real, while the idea of a reunion offers a nostalgic storybook ending to his storied career, it simply does not fit our current roster composition. As Houston Texans fans, we hold a special place in our hearts for his contributions. But our receiver room is already crowded with young talent like Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and Xavier Hutchinson. Adding a veteran of his age would create a logjam that offers little tactical advantage for our group of wideouts currently vying for the final 53-man roster spots. Hopkins is clearly seeking a situational role on a contender, and our team is in a different phase of development where we prioritize players who can compete for consistent starting reps. This brings us to a difficult question that lingers. If the front office decides to add another veteran voice before training camp, what specific skill set are they actually searching for to elevate this offense beyond its current ceiling? The most surprising aspect of this potential homecoming is how rapidly the landscape of the wide receiver room has shifted, leaving little to no room for a reunion with a legend. We remember the days when he was the undisputed focal point of our offense. But after playing his 2025 season with the Baltimore Ravens, he now finds himself in a search for a third down specialist role rather than the primary target status he held for years. What makes this even bigger is that our current roster is overflowing with youthful talent, featuring names like Jaden Higgins, Tank Dell, and Xavier Hutchinson who demand significant playing time to continue their development. From the perspective of DeMeco Ryans in the front office, the priority remains fostering internal chemistry among these emerging stars, who already occupy the outside snaps he would naturally crave. Bringing in a 34-year-old veteran would not just take snaps away from guys who are part of our long-term future, but it would also complicate a crowded depth chart that already boasts nearly a dozen players competing for the final spots on the active roster. We have seen how high-profile reunions can sometimes stall the natural progress of a developing team, and management is clearly focused on maintaining the momentum built over the last 2 years under Cal McNair. Behind closed doors, the staff is likely wary of disrupting the rhythm we have established, preferring to rely on proven production from the current group, rather than adding a veteran piece who is no longer utilized in the red zone. While we respect his storied career and the indelible mark he left on this organization, our football operations team must remain objective, prioritizing the growth of the roster today over the sentimental nostalgia of a celebrated past chapter. While the idea of a veteran homecoming often pulls at our heartstrings, the reality of the situation for our Houston Texans is much more analytical as we evaluate the 2026 roster composition. This matters right now because every single spot on our final 53-man roster is currently being contested by young, hungry talent fighting for their professional lives during the dog days of training camp. Bringing back a player who is clearly past his prime would directly block the development of rising stars like Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Tank Dell, and Xavier Hutchinson, who currently anchor our deep receiving core. The bottom line here is that our current room is already overcrowded with specialized pass catchers who provide more value than a 34-year-old utility piece. meaning there is no logical path for a reunion to actually move the needle for us. If we were to sign a veteran at this stage, it would necessarily have to be an impact starter rather than a situational depth piece, as our salary cap and roster flexibility are better utilized by maintaining our existing core of hungry ascending players. Regarding our upcoming schedule, our path to success against division rivals remains centered on speed and precision, attributes that our younger guys are better equipped to deliver over the course of a demanding 17-game season. While it is always fun to reflect on the past, our championship aspirations rely on the production of a modern, efficient offense rather than sentimentality. Holding firm ensures that our playoff chances remain high because we are not diluting our focus with redundant personnel. We have built a formidable, cohesive unit, and sticking to our current strategy gives us the best possible foundation to navigate the season with confidence and maintain our standing as a true threat in the league. The idea of bringing DeAndre Hopkins back home creates a fascinating debate for us Houston Texans fans who remember his legendary catch radius and impact on this franchise. On the positive side, adding a veteran with his specific skill set provides an incredible security blanket on crucial third downs, offering a reliable target for our quarterback when the pressure is at its absolute highest. However, the downside is equally clear because our current depth chart is already brimming with promising talent like Jaden Higgins, Jalen Noel, Xavier Hutchinson, and Tank Dell. Bringing in a player who demands snaps could disrupt the rhythm and development of these younger athletes, potentially creating a roster logjam that does more harm than good. Here's what people are missing, though, regarding the rumors swirling around the league. While some analysts suggest that competitive teams should look at adding established veterans, the chatter is split between potential targets like Keenan Allen or Deebo Samuel, who might offer more versatility at this stage than Hopkins can provide. Personally, I believe the noise surrounding a homecoming is mostly driven by nostalgia rather than genuine football necessity. To be honest, while I truly admire what Hopkins achieved during his time in Houston, I find the prospect of a reunion fairly unrealistic given the current construction of our wide receiver room. If we were going to make a significant move this late in the offseason, it would need to be for a player capable of securing an immediate starting role. And at this stage of his career, Hopkins is clearly trending toward a specialized situational role rather than a primary offensive engine. We have cultivated a balanced group of playmakers, and forcing a veteran into the mix simply for the sake of a storybook ending is not a strategy that aligns with how DeMeco Ryans builds a championship team for the long haul. The prospect of DeAndre Hopkins returning to the Houston Texans feels like a trip down memory lane. But it is vital to understand what this means for our franchise direction. We are currently building a disciplined, youth-focused roster designed for long-term championship contention rather than relying on nostalgia. While honoring our history is meaningful, our front office is prioritizing players who provide the most value for our specific offensive identity. And I cannot stress this enough, we must feel confident about our current depth chart. With emerging talents like Tank Dell and Xavier Hutchinson fighting for their spots, adding an aging veteran would disrupt the rhythm of this unit and stall the development of our younger pass catchers who are ready to make a significant impact this year. You should feel encouraged that our management is making these tough, calculated decisions to ensure we remain elite for years to come. We are no longer a team looking for a quick fix or a sentimental reunion. We are a legitimate force committed to a clear, forward-looking vision that maximizes our current assets. When you look at the landscape of this wide receiver room, it is clear that we have moved toward a philosophy of speed and vertical threats that define modern professional football. This approach is precisely what we need to elevate our play to the next level during the upcoming season. Given that we already have a crowded room of young, hungry talent, would you rather see the Texans keep the current roster as is or sign one veteran depth piece for the final spot on the squad? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Toro time. I'll see you in the next one.